What is up, guys? Today I will be going over how April was my most profitable month as a trader, trading for over a year and a half. I'll be breaking down the stats of that account, the payouts, my psychology behind it, the good, the bad, and how I plan on staying profitable for the remainder of the year and hopefully for the rest of my trading career. So stick around, let's dive into it. We're in the back end of Top Step. We're looking at the main funded account. You'll see I have account 1 and account 4, and that's because if you haven't seen my last video, long story short, I blew two out of my 4 funded accounts on a bad tilt day. But we'll get into that. As far as the main funded account, in the month of April, I technically only took one. I don't know how you want to look at it. The second payout hit in May, but I requested it in April. But I took two payouts, so 2,300 bucks. Um, but yeah, let's break down what the P&L was, all the stats here. So my average win to loss was a 1.4, which is actually bad for me because I'm supposed to be a one-to-one trader, but towards the end, I found myself extending my profit targets, so it kind of messed up my metrics a little bit, and it was honestly making me miss out on leaving a lot of money on the table. So that's one thing to note. My profit factor was not terrible, pretty good. Um, Total P&L for the month was 3,700 bucks. Nice curve here. This right here was the first payout I took in the account, and then the second payout was the following, I think like May 1st, right? So, well, they didn't deduct the money until May 1st. So, cool. Number of trades, 52. Average trade duration, 56 seconds. Average winning trade is 321. Average loser is 220. My best trade is 1652, and my worst trade is 292. So this although this looks great and what an accomplishment, but this should have never happened. And I did this because I was down 1,500 bucks on the day, which is way more than I'm supposed to be down ever. And I took a Hail Mary play and I got lucky. It happened to work out. So it is what it is. It looks nice, but there's some darkness behind it for sure. But the equity curve looks pretty good. Um, all in all, it looks pretty good. My breakdown as far as my win rate for trade duration and the amount of trades during that time. So a lot of my trades here are below 45 seconds. Uh, yeah. So I would like these scores to be a little bit higher. I think these are low because of my tilt days, honestly. And then I think these are great because of my tilt days as well, because realistically this should be the opposite. Not the opposite, but I would want to have at least a 50%, if not like anything more than a 50% on these two would be considered me profitable. Um, for like this time period because I am a one-to-one trader. So that's that. But this is what the calendar looks like. I started trading the account on the 10th. I think I started the challenge, the funded account for this. I'm sorry, the the challenge for this funded account on Friday, and then I passed it by this Wednesday, the 9th, and then I went right into trading the funded account. Took my base hit here. Um, Took base hits pretty much the entire time here except for this day. And this day I took a base hit, I won, and then I risked the 250 and I went for a 2R. And then the rest of the days are pretty much just base hits except for this day here. This was the day I should have just locked out after being up 141, but I decided to push my luck and went on a downward spiral. Was negative 1,500 in the account, and then I did take a Hail Mary trade um, with one NQ. I don't even know how many points that is, but fairly fairly crazy trade. And I was able to make a 16.5 off that and put me at 134 in profit. So I locked out after that and saved the account. And the rest have just been base hits. Really just base hits are what got me my two payouts. So let's dive into what that base hit looks like. And I think the best day to do that was on the 17th, right? So this was the 17th of April. As you can see, price kind of pushed down here. Um, Okay. Anyways, price push down here pretty aggressively off the open. This is the 9:30 candle right here. So we pushed down pretty aggressively. Once the point of control was established, I saw that we kept tapping off it and going down, but we couldn't break through it. So once we tapped here, I set a limit. This candle opened. It pushed down violently. Pushed down. I set my limit order, and it came back up. Tapped into it. So it was a break and retest, and then it came back down and it got me my 12.75 points. What I shoot for, and yeah, it was with the trend. It was a point of control break and retest. That's been my bread and butter for when I pass my challenges and my base hits for my funded accounts. So my win rate's pretty high on this particular framework. It uses the volume profile of the current session. I'll also use the previous day volume profile, like the value area, so value area high, low, and the point of control. The same thing with the previous week. I'll use those levels too. So pretty much the volume profile and honestly discretion, right? There's a lot of discretion. I've clocked in over a year and a half of staring at the Nasdaq 1 minute chart, pretty much every single time it's been open, right? At market open at 9:30. So I have a lot of screen time, and I think that's given me a good amount of discretion. And then tying that in with the volume profile, I'm able to scalp very quickly in and out 12 and a half points and get my base hits. So that's the kind of the breakdown of my bread and butter. Now this month, um, I do also want to break down what I spent on challenges and how that looked, right? So I purchased for the entire month. I purchased four evals total. So at four, they're all top step. So at $49 um a challenge, it came out to $200. And then I passed all four of them, and then I purchased, and then so I had to upgrade to the express accounts, which is 150. So 150 times four is 600. So total, I was in the hole negative $800. The one payout hit, I think it was like the 20th or something like that, or the 18th or 19th, and that was $1,000. So after that payout, technically I'm in the green for $200, even though I blew these two out of the four express accounts, right? And then the second payout was plus 1,300 bucks. So in the green total at pretty much $1,500, right? Uh, so total P and L 1,500. So it's a nice cushion. And this is how even this right here made me technically a profitable month because technically the May payout didn't hit until the second payout didn't hit until May, but just this alone put me at being profitable for the month, right? And I think the biggest lesson that I had to learn, you know, going through this entire month was my biggest weakness is I'm not very good at losing like mentally I'm not good at losing. And that's why I gravitate towards scalping and like one-to-one trading because it helps with my mental getting consistent wins, right? Being very picky, in and out, make my money and I'm out, right? I find the more that I sit in front of the screen and I try to push the limits, or I try to make back a loss rather, the higher chance I have of blowing accounts, of being extremely red on the day. So what I've done from now on is I have a set daily loss limit for myself, which is $600, right? It gives me two tries because I'm risking 250 to make 250. So it gives me about two tries. I put 600 there just because of slippage. Sometimes it's like 264 I'll lose. Sometimes, if it's a really violent spike candle, I could lose up to 275. It just happens, right? So I left a little bit of wiggle room there for slippage. But real realistically, this is how I'm going to stay profitable by locking in set 600. I have $600 per account to trade with every single day. Every single day. That's what I have. Win or lose, that's it. I go for my one to ones, and if I feel comfortable and I feel like I'm in tune with the market, then I'll risk my profits for more, right? And I think that that's okay. And then if I immediately lose and I'm back to break even, the rule is I lock out. That's it. You lock out to break even day, no harm, no foul, and that's how I'm going to keep the accounts alive. And I think from my psychology, that's the best way to do it. Like I don't want to blow these accounts because blowing the accounts ruins my psychology, it ruins my confidence. Um, and until I can establish like the right mental framework to not let that affect my confidence so much, and that's what I have to do. I think the longer I keep the accounts and the more winning trades I have being one to one, the higher the greater my confidence will get, and uh, I'll be able to kind of push the limits then. But for now, this is what I'm doing to stay profitable. And that was my biggest learning lesson for this month is just learn to lose, right? You have to learn to lose. Losing in trading is inevitable. At the end of the day, you're risking money to make money. So if you lose money, if you are wrong, which is 100% possible at any trade, because we don't know what's really going to happen once we put that trade on. Once we put the trade on, it's in the market's hands. Like you've done, if you've if you're trading correctly, then you've done everything that you can do to make sure you're on the right side of probabilities. Now, whether you are or you're not, that's up for the market to decide, right? And if you're not on the right side of probabilities, it doesn't mean that you necessarily did something wrong. It just means that you were wrong. And that happens even with the best traders. So that's a learning lesson. So stick around. I'll be posting videos as often as possible, but the goal is to get this to make, $10,000 in payouts for in total within the next 2 months. I'm not gonna set like that for this month, but in the next 2 to 3 months, there's no like set time frame, but 10K in payouts is a big milestone for me. So yeah, stick around. If you found some value, like, maybe subscribe, comment down below how your month was, what your P&L looks like, what lessons you learned after reflecting on April's trades. I'm interested to hear those. Maybe we're the same here, but thanks for sticking around, and I'll catch you on the next one.